Zoe's tips, tricks, and how-tos on Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway? The Blind Perspective Network. And Victor Gouveia announcing. Sponsored by VIP Tech. Welcome to Zoe's tips, tricks, and how-tos on Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway and Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner. Brought to you by VIP Tech. I am your announcer, Victor Gouveia. Remember, if you like what you're about to hear, activate the like button and share it with your friends and families, especially if you think they can benefit from anything we say here. And subscribe to both Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway and Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner, making sure to activate the notification bell so you know when we go live or upload a new video. Additionally, we do stream on our Facebook page, Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway, and on Twitter at BlindWhos. If you can't catch us live, catch us on podcasts. Whether you have an Apple device, a Google device, a Windows device, or even the Humanware line of players, go to the podcast section or any podcast app you like, do a search for Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway, and that'll get you to our podcast, which you can subscribe to. Additionally, you can also ask Alexa to play Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway, and she'll go out and find you all the episodes that we currently have available. All hands-free. If you want a copy of the audio or video for this recording, or any recording we do here on the network, send us an email, whoseblindlifeisitanyway@gmail.com, or zoesblindkitchencorner@gmail.com, and we'll send you out a link to the folder on Dropbox where you can download all the episodes of everything we broadcast on the two stations. On this episode, Zoe shows us how to peel tomatoes and stone fruit, something that is very difficult to do if you don't know what you're doing. And now, your hostess, Zoe Fiogkos.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Tips, Tricks, and How-Tos. And as always, if you need to reach me, Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner @gmail.com. Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway @gmail.com. Or you can comment if in the section below if you're watching this on YouTube. Remember that we are streaming through Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway on Twitter @BlindWhos, and on Facebook, where you can also follow Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway there. You can like the page and follow along. You can also ask Alexa to go out and find Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway, where you can find my episodes along with a whole bunch of other entertaining shows that are aired on Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway. Now Victor usually tells you guys this in the introduction, but I thought I would just repeat it. If you guys want a copy of this video or the audio of this video, send us an email. I mentioned the two email addresses where you can get a hold of us, mine and Victor's, and we will send you out a link to Dropbox, and you can download whichever video you want for reference or for whatever reason. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to peel tomatoes and stone fruit. So apples, pears, they're not stone fruit. They've got seeds in the middle. Stone fruit is the type of fruit that has the big, humongous, what should we call it? Seed in the middle. stone. It's really a stone. Things like what I have here: plums, nectarines, tomatoes. Tomatoes are not stone fruit, but we peel them the same way. Then other stone fruit could be apricots, which I don't have, peaches, which I don't have. I mean, I don't have to show you every single stone fruit. I happen to have plums and nectarines, so that's what I'm going to show you. And you're going to say to me, well, why would you want to peel those? You know, the vitamins are, most of the vitamins of fruit are in the peel. I understand. I personally like my fruit with the peel on. But let's say you're making peach jam, which doesn't call for, the recipe doesn't call for the skin. Then you need to peel peaches. Or let's say, so for example, in my household, because I have my mom, she's a senior, she wears dentures. Sometimes the skin of the tomatoes is too hard. I know that tomato skin to most of us doesn't seem like it's difficult to chew, but for my mom it is. So for example, she likes peeling the tomatoes to put in a salad because it's too difficult for her. So, I mean, there could be many reasons why you would peel a tomato. Maybe you want to, I don't know, cut it up and put it in food, but you don't, pardon me, you don't want the skin. Or, you know, things like that. Like, I mean, there's tons and tons of recipes. You could put it through a food mill. If you want to make spaghetti sauce, or you want a canned tomato sauce or something like that, you can put it through a food mill, and usually the skin doesn't go through. But what if you don't want your tomato shredded? You just want to cut it up for a salad, but you don't want the peel. Well, this is what we're doing today. Now, I happen not to have ice in the house. I usually have a lot of ice in the house during the summer periods, but I don't have ice in the house. So what you would do is, I have a pot on my stove, and it's just plain water, and it's boiling. What you would do is, you would take a bowl, you would fill it up with water, and then let me phrase it better so I don't confuse you guys. You take 2 bowls, but make sure one is smaller than the other. In the small bowl, you would put cold water, and you'd place it in the big bowl, and around that small bowl in the big bowl, you would fill it up with ice. That's called an ice bath. And actually, people use that for a lot of things, not just for what we're doing today. But I don't have ice. So I want to peel tomatoes. What am I to do? Well, I'm going to put my bowl in the sink, and I'm going to turn my tap to the coldest water possible, and I'm going to let the bowl fill, but I'm going to leave it running. Okay? You're going to take a knife. Our water's boiling. I already heard it. I'm just going to let's see if there's a sticker on here. All right, there isn't. So the tomato, the top part, you can feel where the stem of the tomato was. At the bottom of the tomato, you feel a little, it actually feels like a dot to me. A very slight raised dot. Sometimes it's not raised, but you can feel a little dot or little thing. You take your knife, find where the dot is, and approximately where that dot is, make a slit. You're going to make an X. So put your knife in a little bit, go through one, an X or a cross, whatever you want to call it. That's it. You make a slit, okay? It doesn't matter. You don't have to be exact. This is not art, okay? You're going to, I have a slotted spoon. You're going to put your tomato on your slotted spoon. Sorry, I need my timer. Now our water is running, as you can hear. I'm going to set the timer to 1 minute. Whoops. Oh, this is not the right timer. Hold on. Let me do this. See this one? Yeah, okay. So I set my timer to 1 minute. I'm going to go over to the pot. Water's boiling. I've got my tomato on my slotted spoon in my right hand. And I've got my timer in my left hand. I'm going to find the pot with my spoon. I'm going to let the tomato drop in. And I'm going to press start on the timer. Okay? Now, if you've got a little bit of contrast vision, tomatoes are red. Use a light colored pot. Peaches are whatever they are, I can't remember. That peachy, nice dark peachy color. Use a light colored pot. If you have no vision, you're going to find the the fruit with your spoon. Don't think that just because I have a little bit of contract vision, yeah, I signed a contract. No, just because I have a little bit of contrast doesn't necessarily mean that if I look in the pot, I can actually see the tomato. I think there's a little bit of foam or steam coming up and I can't really feel it. So our timer's counting down. So put your spoon in when you hear your counter time and try to find the tomato. Feel for it. You'll get it eventually. There you go. I got it. I felt it. My spoon is heavy. I'm letting the water drip. I'm going to turn off the timer and I'm going to hold my hand away from myself and move over to the sink. And I'm going to drop it into the cold water. And like I said, I have the water running because I don't have an ice bath. Okay, now, they say leave it in the cold water for about an hour. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with me today. For about a minute. But I already felt that the skin came off. So look, I'm going to turn off the water for a second. I'm going to pick up the tomato. And the skin is hanging off the tomato. All I have to do is pull it off with my fingers. Just feel all around, and pull it all off. And you have a perfectly peeled tomato. Okay? Now, I'm going to run the water again, and I'm going to do a plum for you guys. So this is a harder fruit. This is not very ripe. Again, at the top you feel like what feels like a little hole is where the stem was. Go to the bottom. You don't really feel anything at the butt of the fruit. Maybe a little dot, but not really. Make a slit just like we did in the tomato. Always remember to make a slit. Okay? It's a little harder. And I'm actually going to do two right now. I'm going to do a nectarine for you guys. Same thing. Feel the hole at the top where the stem was. This actually has a little bit of a stem still. And then feel the bottom. Make a slit. And I can actually put these in together because you shouldn't put too much fruit in at the same time because you want to pull them out at the 1 minute. You don't want your fruit to boil. I wouldn't put more than 2 pieces in at a time. And I can actually put these 2 in because they're small. So, I'm going to let my water run. I'm going to find my timer. Don't know where I did with. There it is. Set it for 1 minute. Go over to the pot. I've got the fruit on my slotted spoon. With my left hand, I'm going to find the pot, throw them in, and as soon as I do, I'm going to press the timer. There they go. And I'm pressing the timer. So, again, actually this one, the plum is a really dark color, so I think I can see it a little bit. Yeah, it's actually floating around. It's all moving around. Anyway, so you can fuss with an ice bath if you want. For the video, it would have been good if I had an ice bath. Oops. See, I forgot to check my timer. So I'm going to actually start at when it says 20 seconds, I'm going to start looking for my fruit because I pressed the 1 minute, but I didn't press start. So I didn't double check that my timer was working. Anyway, for the sake of the video, it would have been good if I had an ice bath so you guys don't hear the water running. But hey, this is real life. I don't have ice. I want to peel fruit. No problem, right? Pardon me. If you leave your fruit in for a few seconds more, like 10 seconds more, it's okay. It's not a big deal. I'm going to start looking for them because I may not be able to pick up. I'm at around the 15-minute mark. Okay, I'm at the 10-minute mark. So I grabbed one of my fruits. Who knows which one? I'm going to dump it into the bowl. Actually, I think it's the plum because it was the darker one. Whoop. And there's my nectarine. Turn off my timer. Go over to the sink and dump it in. Now, I'm not going to do any more for you. I'm going to turn off my boiling water. I think you guys got the idea. Now, I've set my timer for the 1 minute. I didn't check to see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, timer's working. I actually I'm going to leave the fruit in the cold water for the 1 minute this time. With the tomato, skin came off faster. But you should leave it in the cold water for at least a minute. At least. Sometimes you may need to. There will be stubborn fruit. You might get a stubborn peach or whatever where the skin refuses to come off. You could always dip it in again for another 30 seconds or whatever. Or you can take off as much as you can and then use a knife. I have to tell you that rarely happens to me. It has happened, but rarely. This is a 95% sure way to peel your fruit. So we've got, whatever, 7 seconds. I'm going to turn off the timer. Let's see. Pick up one of the fruits. Okay, I happen to grab the peach. So I'm going to turn off the water for now. We don't need it anymore. So at the bottom where we made the slit, the skin, you can actually feel the flesh of the fruit. The skin has pulled away a little. So you're going to grab the skin with your 2 fingers and pull it off. Pull gently all the way till it gets to the stem. There's one piece off. You're going to go again. Find the tip of the skin, pull it off. Well, a lot of this came off. That's good. What? Okay. Now you're going to see, I'm with the tomato, it just peeled, it just fell off. With the nectarine or the peach, you actually have to pull it off. So I'm pulling it all off. There we go. There we go. See if there's any more. Yep, there's more. I can feel it. Can't see it, but I can feel it. So I'm going to find it, pull it off, feel the whole fruit, and again, perfectly peeled. Let's see what happens with the plum, which has a tougher skin. Ha! So now the plum skin is all wrinkled. Let's see if we can get this off easily. I think plums are harder to do. So I went to the bottom of the fruit, and with my nail and my fingers, I pinched off the skin. It is gonna come off, but the plum is the hardest one to do. That's why I actually left it. Yeah. It's harder to do. You have to pinch it off little piece by little piece. So this is where I would maybe even put it in again. Let's put it in again. Where's my slotted spoon? This one, the peel is not coming off. Doesn't matter that the water's not boiling anymore, okay? The skin on the plum is wrinkled. I'm going to stick it into the hot boiling water. I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. Check it. It's working. Okay? And we're going to wait 2 minutes. Sorry. I've got fruit guck on my hands. Right. So, pardon me. So that's the way you peel fruit. And as you can see, plums are stubborn. So plums might give you a hard time. Believe me, it can be done. It may need a little bit of a longer time in the hot water. And I have made plum jelly from scratch. And I did remove the skins. It isn't hard to do. You have to have patience to peel off the plum skin. The tomato is the easiest. Peaches and nectarines come next. I would say even apricots, and then plums would be the last ones. So, and if you're a person who, you should be eating fruit with the skin on, but if you're a person who doesn't like fruit skin, then here's an easy way to peel things. And it's actually a safe way for us because we're not really using knives. I mean, we're using a knife to make a slit, right? That's as far as it goes. Now you're gonna say to me, yeah, but Zoe, you're moving across the kitchen with, you know, hot fruit on a slotted spoon. Yes, but when I lift up the fruit from the pot, I let all the water drip off and I hold my hand out in front of me, nowhere near my body. So if it drips as I'm going across, if it drips, I have my hand out, like as if I'm gonna hug somebody, so that the hot water doesn't drip on me. So let's see. Our timer is almost up for the 2 minutes. There you go, 10, 9, 8, 7. Let's get the plum out, see what happens. I'm letting the hot water drip off. I'm gonna move over. Shush. Okay, I've dumped it into the cold water. I'm actually gonna put my hand in and feel it. Yeah, so as it's in the hot water, the cold water, rub it with your hands. Rub it in the water. Don't take it out of the water. Rub it. This will make the skin easier to come off. I'm actually rubbing and pieces of skin are coming off. So that's a way, it's still stubborn, but it's easier than before. And this water is freezing ice cold, so my hands are frozen. But the more I rub, the skin comes off. It might take you a while. And you might have to pick at it a little bit, but it is done. Now, this plum was also not very ripe. That's another reason why the skin is so tough. If this plum, if this plum was ripe, the skin would come off much easier. But I'm going to stop doing it for now because my hands are frozen and I need a break, okay? But I mean, I've basically half peeled it. I can feel the peel still. See, here it's nice and there's no more skin here, but there are pieces of skin. So with your nail or a knife, if you're not afraid, just keep rubbing and pulling. You will eventually get it all off. Like I just dipped it back into the water and I'm pulling off the skin. So I wanted to show you that most of them are easy. Some can be a little difficult. But remember, use plums that are riper. So anyway, I've got almost all the skin off. It's half of it is... I wanted to do it for you guys before I go, but... Okay. Almost done, I think. But my hands are cold again, so I need a break. And I'm just scraping it off with nails and fingers and whatever. So... I'm going to deal with this off camera. Hold on. I've got plum skin all over. I've got the fruit under the running cold water, and I'm continuing to scrape with my hands. And it's almost all gone. Not quite, but almost. So that's how you peel stone fruit. Even tough ones like plums. And that's pretty good. There's a little bit left. I'll deal with it later. And that's it for our episode today. Peeling tomatoes and stone fruit. I hope this tip helps you. Better than using knives. I'd rather use my fingers. I'd rather lightly scrub fruit. With the tomato, I didn't have to. It just fell off. With the nectarine, all I had to do is pinch and pull. Pinch and pull. It was very easy to do. The plum gave me a hard time. Whip-de-doo. Could just depend on the plum. That's it. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions or need a clarification, let me know. Love you guys as always. See you on the next episode. Bye for now.
Catch Zoe's tips, tricks, and how-tos every Wednesday afternoons on Zoe's Blind Kitchen Corner and Whose Blind Life Is It Anyway? The Blind Perspective Network.